Hello friends, I'm Shelly Clough and today is day 9 of 12 days of watercolor Christmas cards. And for today's design, we're going to paint this beautiful kind of blue and silver floral ornament. I'm really excited about this one. So let's dive in. So for our paper today, we are just using some Canson XL watercolor paper that I have trimmed and folded. I have my trimmer linked below, and I am just going to tape this down on my surface. Okay, now that my paper is taped down and ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and make this circle for my ornament. And for that, I am just going to use a roll of tape that I have. This is my favorite kind of tape, by the way. And I am just going to use this as sort of a stencil. So I'm going to try to center that on my page. And then I'm going to take this size 4 Da Vinci brush and just get a really light bit of this ultramarine blue color. So nice and watery. And then I'm just going to take that and run that along the inside here. Okay, there's my loose shape that I've got, and I will probably go over that with some silver later, but for now, we're going to keep it like that. And then we get to add our flowers inside. So for the flowers, I'm just doing this ultramarine blue color. I feel like it's such a perfect kind of a wintry color. And I'm making kind of a pattern look on this. So I'm going to start with some flowers that I call my zigzag flowers, where we're going to come and just sort of zigzag our brush around in chunks. So I sort of made 3 little zigzagged chunks that are surrounded. They're sort of anchored by a little empty dot. All right, so let's do that again. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a little zigzag. It's almost like a fan shape. Another little zigzag, and then a little tiny zigzag with a little dot in the middle. And I'm going to do one more. I like to do these in clusters of 3. Okay, there's my 3 flowers, and they all look a little bit different, and that's okay. That's the fun part about flowers. They all have a little bit of variation to them. And I'm going to do that a few places on my ornament. So I'm going to do some more kind of over here. And I'm going to do it so it's like partially peeking around the edge of the ornament. So it sort of disappears from view. And then maybe do one over here. Just doing little clusters of 3, like this is a pattern. And I am repeating parts of that pattern. Doing my zigzags, and then just leaving that sort of empty little dot in the middle. That empty dot is sort of what gives the flowers shape. Okay, so now that I've got a few of those, well, let's see, I actually might make one kind of peeking off the edge over here and kind of peeking out over here. Feels pretty balanced to me. And then I am going to make some slightly different flowers with Prussian blue, similar but a little bit different. I'm actually just going to mix that in ultramarine, so that way there's still some kind of common thread, but they're a little different. And for these flowers, I'm just going to do the same thing but miniature. Just little dots, kind of little flecks. And I'm doing those in clusters of 2. And over here. All right, so where the magic really happens with this design is with the leaves. So what we want to do is sort of these chunks of white space that we have. We want to make some curved stems that come in there and make these little leaves. So you can just kind of use your brush to make it really light pressure, sort of make a line, and then a second part to that line, or just make like a football shape. Okay, so there's one stem. And this is still just kind of the mix of Prussian blue and ultramarine blue. And I'm going to come up over here and do the same thing. Try to make your stems as skinny as you can. That one's maybe a little wider than I prefer. Okay, and then I'm going to have one kind of just finding the big gaps and finding spots that I can put some leaves in there. Helps to have a really tiny brush for this. This is a size 4. You could even use a size 2. Okay, and then maybe one over here. Just sort of looking around, trying to find ways to balance this design out. And I don't want to forget about the edges here. Make it look like there's stuff coming off, coming around the edges. We come over here. All right, I think I'm feeling good about that. I may make another little flower kind of right here. And now what I'm going to do is add some dimension to these flowers. That will really help them kind of pop. So I'm going to now go into indigo and get a pretty concentrated amount of that color. So I don't want a ton of water in this, just enough for it to sort of have movement. And then I'm going to mimic the shape I made on the outside on the inside, like a little miniature zigzag flower on the inside here. Just making those little flicks going out. Just little flicks. Still sort of leaving a little opening in the middle of those flowers. And then on these littler ones, I'm just going to do some dots in the middle. Just some little dots. Now I want to build up my exterior a little bit. Actually, hold on. I feel like it needs just a little bit more over here. Another little half flower there. Maybe some little mini flowers right here. So I'm just dropping a couple of little extra leaves here and there just to fill things out. Okay, feel better about that. I'm just going to add those little middle portions. Kind of tap, tap, tap to some of those flowers. All right, I think that looks good. Now I am going to emphasize my perimeter just a little bit more. So I'm going to bring back my roll of tape, place it back exactly where I had it before. I'm just going to take that same color that I've been using, water it down a little bit more. I don't want to make it too crazy. And again, I'm just going to re-outline that perimeter. Okay, so that's kind of what it's looking like now. And then I actually like to add a little bit of silver to this, but I'm going to offset things just a little bit. So I'm going to scoot my tape so it's just a little bit off. And then I have some silver paint here by Susan Zavala Watercolors. I'll link her Etsy store down below. So I'm just loading some of that silver onto my brush. And then I'm just going to sweep around just on this part that I kind of offset over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing kind of over here. Offset things just a little bit. And then run some of that silver along. Okay, and I'm going to do, I think I might do that 1 or 2 more times. I like just having that slight perimeter shining around things. Okay, movement looking cute. All right, now the last step for this, we're going to take some more of that silver. Just going to get it nice and concentrated on my brush here. So it's kind of thick. And then I'm going to make the little topper for my ornament, which is really just going to be kind of a rectangular shape. I'm just making little strokes up and down. and then a little loop on top. And then I'm going to grab my ruler, because I just think this sort of thing looks nice when it's got a nice straight line above it. Just run my brush along the ruler. And there is my ornament. Okay, this is all dry now, but I forgot one more detail that I did on the initial one, where I added a little bit of that silver onto the body of the ornament. So I'm just keeping with the same size 4 brush and just doing little silver polka dots here and there on my ornament. It just kind of ties together that silver look and makes things look a little special. Okay. It's little, but it's an important touch. So I'm just gonna dry that now. Okay, now that it's dry, I can add my stamp on the back. Again, this is just my stamp so people know that this is a handmade card. I ordered this one a few years ago, but I have a similar one that's linked below, as well as a template if you want to make your own. And add your name to your own. I'm just gonna center this and stamp. And there we go. All right, so there is our day 8 card. I hope you are enjoying this series. Thanks so much for being here. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the next Christmas card in the series. I hope you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all in the next video.